Welcome back to the Merck Method, where we explore mental wellness, growth, and the human experience. I want to just thank everybody again for coming and listening to the podcast episode today. I hope you're having a great day, and if not, I hope it gets better as we move forward. So today's episode is going to be a little bit, a little bit here, a little bit there about having some really good people around you, especially when it's at a time where you are trying to really find like who you are and what your next steps are and how they can really project where you go moving forward. And I wanted to use the example of my daughter's soccer team. So my daughter plays club soccer, and we really have a great group of parents around us. And actually, their kids are just as amazing. And it really does make a difference. And we were actually talking about this the other day with at a tournament about miking people up during the game. And I think that's going to come in one of the next episodes moving forward, where I'm going to mic up some of the parents. And it's going to be a little different content than normal, but I think it's relatable where, you hear individuals and just how their circle of friends and their circle of people really just bring out just the humor and the best in people and really just you enjoy yourself and your time around them. And I feel like that's something to share because we need a little bit of that, right? We need a little bit of that positivity, that energy when we're going through the day. And we're looking for that energy after a long week or after a long day where we're excited to go see these people. And, a lot of times I've been in sports with my kids for a long time, and I was in sports a lot growing up. And it's really hard to find a group of individuals, parents wise, as well as the kids, that really just get along and really just bring a really good energy. And you just have this great camaraderie when you guys are together. So I kind of wanted to just touch base on how that's really positive for you moving forward. And, it's just nice to have those people, around you. And when I say that we're going to have a little bit different kind of content, it is a lot different because of the things that we talk about during games. And we're just very vocal and we feed off of each other, and we're very loud, but loud in a nice way. We're loud in an encouraging way, but also, we're encouraging each other. So it works so many different ways, and it's really just a great time. And I think that it's really going to be some great sound bites for you guys to listen to. Wanted to do this for a little while, but of course, there's a lot of things that come with it where I have to find a space big enough for, maybe multiple people on the show. I have to get more equipment. I have to figure out the best thing to use for doing this mobile when we're at like the soccer field or wherever we're at. But I do feel that that's going to be a nice little boost with the podcast as well, and trying to stay within the Merck method. Now, again, realistically, this is going to go kind of off the wall sometimes, but we're going to pick some good stuff to listen to, and we'll make it tasteful. But the whole idea of this is, again, having those individuals around you that you don't have to fake it to make it. They accept you as who you are off the wall. It doesn't make any difference. And that's really the key in this. The truth is, the people around you really do matter more than you actually often realize. They shape your mindset and your mood and even your mental health. So when you're struggling and you're having a rough day, and then you see your friends, and then it instantly is like a 180. Have you ever noticed that happen? It's not just in your head, it's that energy, it's contagious. When you surround yourself with that negativity and that gossip and that constant complaints during the day, it really drains you, right? It's like you're carrying that like emotional backpack. But that doesn't happen when you're around these people, especially around these individuals that are on my daughter's soccer team, their parents. The right people just don't make you laugh, right? They're restoring you. They're restoring your energy that you need. Take a moment and think about it for a second. Who are those people in your life that do that? The ones who make you laugh even when you don't feel like smiling. That's not friendship. That's medicine. That's medicine for your soul. Laughter is one of the most natural healers we have. It breaks the tension, it resets your nervous system, and reminds your spirit that you're still alive, still capable of that joy, even when it feels impossible. That's why you need these people in your life. When you're laughing, you're not analyzing, you're not overthinking, you're not worrying about tomorrow. You're in it in that moment. You're just being. It's mindfulness in motion. These friends that you put yourself around that make you laugh help you step out of your pain. Not necessarily to ignore it, but really just be there to remind you that life is still bigger than that pain or that struggle that you're in at that moment. That you're allowed to smile and to laugh with them while you're healing. I have this quote that I heard the other day, and I really want to share it with everybody. It goes like this: a good friend knows all of your stories, but a best friend helped you write them. A good friend knows all of your stories, but a best friend helped you write them. And I want to add to this: the right friend knows when to make you laugh through them. That's pretty powerful stuff, but it's true. As I've gotten older, and I've been one of those people when I was younger, I wanted to be in every single circle, and I've mentioned it in previous podcasts where I felt that that was important, where I wanted to be friends with everybody. And being that, I felt like I had to wear so many different hats to quote unquote fit in. But as I grow older, I notice that my circle actually gets smaller. And honestly, that's okay. I've grown into the fact that that is okay because you start realizing it's not about how many friends you actually have, it's about how you feel around the ones you really do. You're asking yourself, do they lift you up in the moments that you need to? Do they celebrate your small wins? And again, that's what we're really trying to collect is small wins. We might have one that hits out to the moon, but really those small wins are the ones that really recharge our battery. Do your friends make you feel lighter when it's really heavy? Those are some really strong friends. The right friends don't compete with you. They cheer for you. They don't drain you. They're just pouring back into your cup, and vice versa. When they're sharing their energy with you and uplifting you, then you're actually almost uplifting them at the same time. It works both ways. It's not about surrounding yourself by people, it's about surrounding yourself with the right energy because your peace is too important to keep giving it to the wrong people because those people will take it but never give it back. If you're around that constant negativity in your world, it starts to look darker. You start to feel that negative energy and then it just shows up in everything. You have to get out of that. But when you surround yourself with that laughter, that encouragement, that love from other people, your world starts to expand. Your perspective starts to expand. That's why when talking about this group of people on my daughter's, the parents of my daughter's soccer team, you're so happy to see them. They're so inviting and from both sides. We do it, they do it, and win or lose, we're still in it together. And we try to keep as positive as possible. I mean, as soccer parents, everybody should know, we're still yelling at bad calls and, calls that weren't there and, so on and so forth. But we're still there for each other, lifting each other, laughing, and that's the people that you want to be around. You want to be intentional with the friends that you hang out with. You want to choose those friends who want to see you smile. Those friends that remind you that it's okay to take a break, who help you laugh at yourself sometimes. I have a lot of those friends that make me laugh at myself, but they don't tear you down in that moment. But they are there to remind you not to carry everything so seriously. Life can be too serious. We need to laugh. Laughter is good medicine. Positivity isn't about pretending everything's fine, but it's about having people who remind you that even when it's not fine, you still are. You just have to remember, who do you want sitting next to you in the moments when you barely can hold yourself together, right? Who would you want to be around when you're thinking about, man, I'm really just struggling today. Who should I call? Those are the people who deserve your time, who deserve that loyalty and your laughter. And of course, on the other side, you can be that person for someone else. Be that light, be that loyalty, be that laughter for them. Be the reason someone smiles. Be their reminder that joy still exists and there's warm hearts surrounding them. Laughter doesn't fix everything, right? But it keeps you alive when you're figuring it out. That's why a lot of times when I'm just kind of having a rough day, I'm watching comedy movies all the time. And that's the beauty about the right friends. They don't always change the situation that you're in. They might not fix the problems that you had during the week at work or with the family or whatever in between. They just change how you see it, even for a moment. So text that friend who always cracks you up. Plan a coffee date and get some laughter in. There might be some tears too, but I'm sure there'll be laughter if you pick the right individuals. Be open to new connections that bring that light. No drama. Stay away from the drama because the right friends, the ones who make you laugh, they're not just part of your life, they're part of your healing. They're going to sit in it with you and help guide you through it. With this soccer team, it's really just awesome to watch as we get to a tournament or a game. Usually it's a weekend tournament where we've stayed in a hotel and if you've had a child that's been in sports, that's kind of a thing where you stay in a hotel all together and you're either going out to eat after games or if you're playing cards, the parents are playing cards and the girls are or the kids are swimming or something in between. And we like to play the game left, right, center. And this thing can get super intensive. Where, ironically enough, the last time that we played, people were trying to get me and my wife to win, and we just couldn't do it. We are horrible gamblers. But it was such a great time to where, I mean, we were just crying, laughing. Those are your people. Those are the people that you want to surround yourself with, where you just can't control your laughter, that you're crying so hard because you're just enjoying the moment. You need those moments. You need these people in your life just as much as they need you. And they're out there. If you start to look at things in a positive perspective, those positive individuals will surround you. Or if you're looking at stuff in the negative, those negative people will surround you. It's just the way you look at it. And it's the way that you throw that energy out into the atmosphere. So you have to be careful. But you can be surrounded by these individuals. They're out there waiting for you to connect. So be vulnerable, show your true side, and people will take you in as you because you need that. You need that positive energy, that positive aura to help guide you through some of the times that are just not as positive. I have to say on my account that I have been pretty blessed with the people that I have worked with and have gone through my life in this journey up until this point. Now, there are people that were in my life for a certain part of time and were positive in that time, but have now left. And that does happen too. But there are some core group of individuals that stick around and you've met them for a reason, and it's a good reason. And you want to hold on to those people because they're supposed to be in your life to make that positive impact for yourself moving forward and really to kind of use your light to share that with others in whatever way that looks like. For me, it's through this podcast and doing counseling. It could be something completely different for someone else. You just have to find the right environment for you to sit in, the positive environment to show your true meaning and your true purpose, and to laugh along the way too. If you're listening to this and realizing that you've lost that laughter for a while, I get it. I lost mine for a little bit, recently. And life has that way of, hardening us. But I want you guys to remember something. You don't have to do this by yourself. You have these friends, these individuals that will lift you up, but you have to allow them to understand that you are looking for that. Don't hold it in because that's not good. It's not good for you. You have to find your people, the ones who know your humor and your hurt, the ones who bring out that silliness when the world just tries to make you too serious. You need to be more silly. You need to be yourself. All of us are weird, but we're weird in our own way. At the end of the day, it's not about having perfect friends. No one's perfect. It's about having people who remind you that even your messiest seasons, you're still worth laughing with. You're still worth loving. Because the ones who make you laugh again and again, they're not just your friends, they're your lifelines. And you really shouldn't go through life feeling like you don't have those lifelines that you can count on. But it all comes into the perspective of what kind of positive environment you put yourself into. That environment isn't just the backdrop of your life. It's that soil that your spirit grows. And what grows there depends on what you plant and what you keep pulling out. If you keep planting negativity, that's what you're just going to keep getting and giving. But if you flip it and put yourself in an environment that's positive, that's what's going to keep growing. And that's what you're going to keep sharing with other people. Remember, everything around you carries energy. People around you, the spaces around you, the music you listen to, the conversations. And that energy doesn't lie. And I know you've probably felt it when you've walked into a room and it felt heavy and no one's saying anything. Or meeting someone whose energies immediately made you feel calm and seen, and that laughter. These are the people that I'm talking about on this soccer team. You immediately feel that energy and you feel the laughter before it's even started. That positive environment doesn't mean everything is perfect. It's more like it's aligned. It means it's safe. It feels like home to your soul. Wouldn't you want that? Doesn't that sound amazing? You can do it just as much as anyone else. And the beautiful part of it is when you find those kinds of friends, you start to want to be that kind of friend because that good energy multiplies. You start listening better, you start encouraging others more, you start becoming softer and intentional. Your soul doesn't need perfect people, it needs positive ones. Friends who are honest, friends who are kind, friends who are funny, friends who are humble, who love you loud and root for you quietly. The ones who remind you that it's okay to be you. So, as I wrap up this episode today, I want to just thank everybody for listening to this. I'm really excited about the future episodes coming up where we're going to get some more content in here with other individuals, people from the soccer team, other individuals that have wanted to talk on here. But I just want to thank you again for listening to this particular podcast episode. And I really want you to just surround yourself with really great people because you deserve it and they deserve you. And do me a favor, if this episode spoke to your soul, share it with somebody, one of your friends who really brings light to your life. The one that makes you laugh when nothing's funny, or somebody who lifts you up just being around, because that's the energy we need more of in this world. So as I leave you always, I leave you with this. Stay grounded, stay kind to yourself, and remember, strength begins with honesty. Until next time.